Oh, I'm here this afternoon with Jaime Miranda, the head coach for Central College in Pella. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Just working in the office. Our girls are getting ready to leave campus for the summer, finishing finals. Some of them already left already. So just making sure they're squared away before they take off for the summer.
Very good. Yeah, finals week at Central then. So
Yeah,
that's always got to be a relief for all the girls who are on the team and get them through.
yeah,
Um, I'm gonna go back. I think it's 2 years now. Yeah, it has been 2 years, maybe a little longer. But I met you when you were a coach at MLC Floyd. How did you start getting into coaching girls wrestling?
yeah. So I was actually working at MLC Floyd Valley. I got there in the August of 2021. I started coaching on the boys team as an assistant. That was a really great experience, and we met some girls that were on our team that were wrestling our, for us, but we only had three girls on the team at the time, I think. And yeah, I just built some relationships with those girls, and then Iowa State, like the state of Iowa, ended up sanctioning girls wrestling, and then that's when the opportunity kind of was given to me, I guess, or I was told that I should take it, and I was a little nervous at first, but I ended up taking it anyways, and I'm more than happy that I did, just because I fell in love with the kind of kids that you meet in girls wrestling.
Yeah, it's definitely a different feel than boys wrestling. And
Yeah,
it's
sure.
easy to and your teams, every year they progressed. And I will tell you, as a coach on the other side of the mat, I didn't like to wrestle them because they were always tough kids and really well coached. But you had the opportunity to go back to your alma mater, where you graduated from, Central College. How did that kind of come about?
Yeah, I just knew that as soon as I started coaching, after my first year coaching on the boys side, I just really fell in love with coaching wrestling. I never really thought I'd get into it, but I just knew it was a passion that like a fire that God put in my heart, and I knew that I needed to keep pursuing that. And then when I started coaching the girls side, I was just like, I'm not done. Like I want to get to college someday. Um, and I was just looking for more career growth, I guess, on the academic side. And there just wasn't much more for me to go up at the time at MLC Fort Valley, being a small community like Orange City. And so then I started branching out, looking farther than just Northwestern College. I wanted to go to Northwestern College because I built some good relationships with Louise, the head women's wrestling coach out there,
Yep.
Dylan Costello, another assistant out there on the men's side, and then Rick Dahl, all really great people. And I had some cool opportunities to work part time out there, but it didn't work out. And so I threw my hat in the ring at Central College for a position for Upward Bound, and I ended up getting the job. And then kind of just was just like, I'm gonna work my way from the bottom to the top. And I wasn't expecting to get a head coaching job out here, especially not this fast, but I was planning on just coming in and volunteering my time as much as they would have me. And then I just kept offering more and more things that I could do. And I ended up getting on staff here as an assistant coach for the women's team. I was trying to help with the men and the women, but I got advised by my mentor that if I want to really do this and if I really love coaching women, then I need to be all in. And I can't
Yeah.
just be like, I have one hand in women's wrestling, one hand in men's wrestling. As much as like the men's wrestling program at Central means to me, um, that's like another chapter of my life that's kind of closed now. And I always have respect for our men's staff and the men who wrestle in our program, but my focus has been for the last 2 years all on our women's team.
Very good. Um, there's got to be some big jumps there, unexpected things going from a high school. Well, even I noticed from going from an assistant high school to a head coach. Man, there's a big jump in responsibilities and what you need to do. Are there some things that kind of surprise you about being a head college coach that you're like, oh, this is not exactly what I thought it was going to be, or maybe it is exactly what you thought, but different responsibilities that a college head coach has to do.
Yeah, I would just say it's just more, especially in Division three and the NCAA. There's a lot more restrictions and guidelines that you have to be aware of, and like our rules officer here, Alicia O'Brien, she does a really great job at informing all of the coaches on staff at Central College, like what we can and can't do. And we just need to make sure we ask ahead of time. And like I myself, like I just think everything's good. And as long as you're trying to do everything for wrestling and for a women's team, then it's good to go. But that's not always the case. And it's not like I've done anything major, but it's just there's so
Yeah,
many rules for the
there
NCAA.
are.
that you just have to be cautious of it. And so like you just think like, oh, I'm doing this, it's good for the team, I'm not hurting anybody, then it's going to be okay. But it's not always that way. Especially Division 3, like I said, our primary focus is to have the girls get a quality education and do well in school and to always put that first. And so that always has to come first. And I think that's one of the challenges that you face in Division 3 and in the NCAA for Division 3 is just a little bit different. We have to make sure we prioritize that and our athletes as students first.
Yeah, I think sometimes there's misconception about D3. They no athletic scholarships. Yep, but there's still money available, right? It's not.
Yeah,
It's just based on different things in your athletics, and you're not tied to that athletic scholarship like you would be if you were a D1 athlete. There, you have a bad year, you might not have your scholarship the next year. What type of? I mean, I know you're not in the financial aid department, but what type of things are your athletes getting when they come to as far as financial aid?
yeah. So right away, we just let them know. Like first thing I want to do is just get to know them and their GPA, their cumulative. When we know they're cumulative, we can give like a certain amount of scholarships that we can hit right off the bat. So like if your
Hmm.
GPA is like a 3.9, you might be getting like $9,000 every year, like right off the bat. So whatever their GPA is, we can give some kind of money towards that, even if it's not the strongest GPA. So they get that, and then there's FAFSA and the Pell Grant, and then also we just try to like help them navigate like internal institution scholarships because it's
Hmm.
all going to be like need based and academic performance, how well you did in school, and then your potential. Because Central, just like a lot of other institutions, it's not how you start, it's how you finish your high school career. And they just want to see that you take your education very seriously and you're willing to pursue that. And so most of our funds for our student athletes are going to come from the academic side and just to show that they're seriousness. So even if you don't have like the best GPA, the fact that you show a lot of growth from your sophomore to your senior year, or even just your junior and your senior year, just showing that you care now and you actually want to put in that effort academically, we can find some academic scholarships for you, whether they're big or small, that will help ease the financial burden.
Yeah. No, I know that there's plenty of money, and a lot of times when you start looking at if you're looking at NAIA schools, D3, in Iowa, that's probably your biggest, comparison. The money typically is about the same. The final
Yeah.
dollar amount that you're paying typically ends up being the same. So, um, recruiting, such a big part of a college job. Uh, the girls gotta like what they're seeing, but what are you looking for when a recruit comes to see you? Because they got to be a fit for your team and your culture.
Yeah, I just look for girls who have great attitudes in that, like, if I'm able to watch them wrestle, just see how coachable they are in their corner, how they respond to their parents after a hard loss or anything like that. Even like at the regional qualifiers, the state tournaments, watching where if they lose in the second round, how they bounce back from that, whether they win the rest of their matches or lose them. It's all about like their character and how they carry themselves. That plays a huge role just because we're trying to put the right kids on Central College's campus and in our wrestling program. And that also goes like we also don't just go after the kids that have the highest GPA, that are the best wrestlers, that do the best job. We're going after kids who they might need wrestling more than wrestling needs them, right? And I was one of those kids growing up in high school and in college. And so like my heart always goes out to those kids who just struggle a little bit. Like they're not mature enough yet or emotionally mature enough yet or academically like locking in the right way. Um, but they have potential to do great things outside of the wrestling world. And if we can just help them get a quality education and get their step in the right direction for after graduation, then they can do some big things. And so we just look for kids who want to do big things in their life for other people.
Yeah, you brought up something there, and I know I was going to try to work this in. I've heard bits and pieces of kind of your story throughout,
Mm-hmm.
coming to Central and things, and uh, obviously academics has meant something to you because I believe there's a doctorate in front of your name now. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
So
I'm a senior now.
That's quite impressive. I mean, you're pretty young to have a doctorate in front of your name, so education means a lot to you. But could you tell people maybe a little bit about how maybe you evolved as a person throughout your time at Central and since then?
Yeah. Well, I would just say like going back to like in high school and growing up, I always struggled with like school and my family just wasn't always doing well. I come from a single home, single parent household, and two siblings that grew up with me in that house or in my family, and things were just kind of rocky. But then my mom ended up passing away when I was a sophomore in high school during my wrestling season, and that's kind of like what put me on like a straight path. So from my sophomore year until I graduated high school, I was locked in. Like, I'm not going to drink alcohol. I'm not going to smoke pot with my friends. I'm going to work out 10 times harder. I'm going to take my studies seriously. But because before that, my freshman year, I was on probation. I was in the juvenile court system, and I just wasn't headed in the right direction to be successful or even have like an okay life. And that sadly was like that had to happen for me to change my like the trajectory of my life. And so like I went through high school and everything was good. My high school coaches and everybody, I think, were just pretty sure that like no matter where I went, I was gonna have a good head on my shoulders. I'll be okay. But that wasn't the case. Like I came to Central College, my social worker encouraged me to come out here, and like you take a kid, anybody, male or female, it doesn't matter who you are. Like if you make life easy for them when it used to be so hard, they kind of lose their mind a little bit. And I went a little crazy with that. Like I've always been good at working out and going to school and stuff, but now like school's way harder for me. And I don't like to ask for help. So I struggled academically when I first got here. And in season, I would work really hard, but then I'd like to party a lot too. And I just made a lot of dumb decisions. Like I got to college, I had to worry about food, don't have to worry about laundry, don't have to worry about like a place to stay. Like it's all taken care of. And so for me, life was really, really easy. And so it made it easy for me to make a lot of dumb mistakes. And I like to tell like some of my athletes and other people that I know that like probably over half of the campus hated me, me and my best friend. Like we were just menaces and juveniles on campus, and it just was like really easy not to like us. Um, and I even talked to my old head coach, Eric Van Clay. He's the vice president of athletics here at Central College now. He just
Uh-huh.
retired a couple years ago now. Like, I don't know how he dealt with us. And he just tells me, he's like, oh, it was easy. Like, I knew you were going to do good and you would figure it out someday. But like, at school was not easy. I would go into his office at first every week, then it turned into every month and every semester up until I graduated, actually, telling him I was going to quit school and go back home to Washington. And it just got to a point where he'd just be like, stop talking, like come back tomorrow. We'll talk tomorrow when you're more calm. And obviously I never left Central. But I just had like a bunch of staff on my coach, like on the wrestling team and academically too. They never gave up on me. I gave people so many reasons to give up on me. And I made it through school. And that's one thing I promise our athletes here is that I guarantee when you come here, as long as you don't give up on yourself, no one here is going to give up on you. And the days you do feel like giving up on yourself, we're still not going to give up on you. And that's kind of what got me through Central College and got me here. I had really good teammates, and I ended up becoming a Christian in college here at Central. I struggled with my faith. My mom passed away, and I just really was angry at God for my life and a bunch of other stuff that happened. And then I just saw all these guys. Like we're not a faith-based like school, but we have a chapel in the center of our campus. Essentially, it's a big part of what we offer and what we do here, but it's not like mandatory. And
Yeah.
so like a lot of my friends on my team were Christians, my coaches are Christians, and just seeing them live that life and like be happy and have that light around them, it just made me so interested. In my buddies, they would invite me to church, and I usually just said no. But one day I decided to go, and I just felt the Holy Spirit during worship one day, and I just kept going. And now it's really cool, full circle. My wife and my kids and I, we all go to that same church.
Oh, that's very cool.
So it's very, very special to me, Central, on so many levels.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that going from a horrible thing to happen as a sophomore in high school, losing your mom who was, sole provider for you. That's really difficult. But then you're right. Sometimes you get to college and you don't see the right path. I can say that I did a lot of those same things and
Yeah.
maybe, but being able to have people behind you and trust that you're going to make the decisions to do the right thing at some point and always have that support. And so that drives you as a coach. I can see that. So you being a good coach yourself, who are some of those coaches that maybe stuck with you and obviously Van Clay and stuff, but other coaches that you really, to become a coach, you had to have good coaches, right? I mean, I think that's very
Yeah.
true. So who are some of those people we should give a little shout out to?
Coach Buchel back in Washington, he was my coach my sophomore year. Coach Jamie Rakovich, he's still coaching. Like I had three different coaches in high school. Coach Chuck Baloney, like all great guys, and like I just remember them always being in my corner. Coach Van Volkenberg, he was a great assistant coach. Coach Yakovich, another great assistant coach. Like all these coaches are in my corner. When my mom passed away, I found out during practice. My team and I, we went for a run. I came back. They sat me down, and like my world had just got shattered, right? And so my first thing was, is I don't want to go back to our apartment or go home. I want to stay with my family, my team. Like my wrestling team was my family, it was my safe place. And we talk about that a lot in wrestling. All kinds of teams and programs do that. And I think that's a special thing that we offer kids at all levels. And so I stayed. And I didn't know it at the time, but my wrestling partner told me that was the worst practice of his life. Because I just went back and like kind of took out my aggression on him. But I had coaches like reach out to me and come back. They would be driving from home from other sports. My football coach, my English teacher, they would drive to the wrestling practice, pull me out, and just let me know that they were here for me and give me a hug. And so like in high school, I really did have a village like of great coaches and great staff, and not just wrestling. It was academically too. Like my English teacher, like I said, Corey Crick. I still talk to her to this day. She was a very important person in my life that helped get me on the right path. And then obviously Eric Van Clay never gave up on me and believed in me. And Matt Deal here at Central College, the assistant still for Central College men's wrestling. He was just like so important to me, him and his wife, in my walk of faith, and like when I became a Christian, and even to this day, just having them in my corner helps and means so much to me. And then I would even say like Coach Dahl. I never got coached by him, but he's the kind of man that's just like he leads in his faith, and he's
Hmm.
a great coach and a great father. Sounds like I don't know him all that well, but all the interactions I've had with him, I would love to have been coached by him. I would love to have actually worked with him. But I'm just grateful and blessed to even know him, and like just to even have any kind of a relationship. So I've had a lot of great coaches, interacted with a lot of great coaches, and I know there's probably more, but those are just some of the ones that really meant a lot to me.
Yeah, Coach Dahl. I know Coach Dahl fairly well. Also, we were
Yeah,
wrestling at the same time within the same conference and stuff. So I do, and I've gotten to know him quite well. So yeah, he's a great guy. So you've just been around some really good people. Um, Being around those coaches and stuff, you're looking to build a certain culture at Central, right? You're in a rebuild. You
yeah,
didn't start the program, but you're kind of in a rebuild because maybe things didn't go exactly as planned as what they were hoping. So, and I've been around a couple startups, and it's not an easy thing to do. How are you getting the right people, and what is the culture you're trying to build there at Central?
yeah. Well, I think too that like rebuild is I think is a little bit harder sometimes than actually building a program, because now you have to. And I was on staff last year as an assistant, and so people are like, well, whatever they didn't like about the program before, like you were a part of it, so what's different now?
Uh-huh.
And I had to tell them that like my job and my role was as an assistant, and yeah, I can't prove anything to you, but I will tell you now, anything that happens from this moment forward as the head coach, like that's my call.
Yep.
And if you like that or not, like at least you know for a fact that's who I am. But just trying to like give them like a whole new image, like this is who we are now. And like I coached under Coach Baines, and she was a great person. I really liked her. She became a really good close friend of mine. But she had different opportunities back home in Texas, and
Yep.
I just took a shot to be the head coach here. And Central College is it. I mean, this is my home now. Like I brought my family here, my three kids. We live in town. My wife, she teaches at one of the schools here in town, or as a school counselor. And so like Central College and Pella is very special, near and dear to my heart and the wrestling program. And so I need to make that happen for women too. They need to have that same opportunity that I had. And that's what I try to tell everybody, is that like I'm not going to sell you anything that's super special. Like I've seen some of the other coaches on here, Coach Luis from Northwestern
Yep.
and Iowa Lakes. Like they did a really great job in explaining their programs and stuff. But at the end of the day, all of our wrestling programs, it's all about family, having faith, having fun. Essentially, all of us younger coaches are all kind of in the same realm of like you got to enjoy the process. And so
Yep.
like what I try to tell to everybody that we talk to is that Iowa Lakes is a great opportunity, great college. Wartburg, Simpson, Cornell, Northwestern. If you want to go to those places, go to those places. I'm a firm believer that if you come to Central College and it's not the right fit for you and you don't want to be here, then with all due respect, we don't want you here either. We don't want to have to beg people to be here. We
Yep.
want to show them how great this place is and what we can offer them, and we want you to want to be here. And I think that kind of authenticity and transparency goes a long way with like young adults nowadays. People always think that kids, like whether in elementary school, middle school, high school, are not just smart or just like they can't see through things like the adults are doing or talking about. And that's just not the case. I think when you treat them like adults and respect them and their abilities to read into things and to look at things that for their future, they respond well to that. Whether it ends up them coming here or not, I think they respond very well to that.
Yeah, you have some good commits, and I don't know everybody that's coming to Central. I don't know a lot about the team at this point in time. I hope to get to know a lot more about your team. But I'll throw a couple names. Taya Hollingsworth, fantastic kid. I'm super excited for her, and then Bree Kiger from Carroll. Two people I know really well. Um, what do you think? Two kids like that. I mean, they're just fantastic people on top of being good wrestlers. How do you think that's going to help build the central team?
Yeah, I think it just helps to have like Taya and Bree. Like, yes, they're very great wrestlers and state placer and a two-time state placer for Bree, and that's amazing. And they've gone to AAU and done all these great things for Taya in Florida. And I'm very proud of them and excited to have that kind of talent on our roster. But it's the quality of people that they are.
Yep.
Um, as a program that is younger and we're in a rebuilding phase, we need to make sure that our core girls and our core values need to be good enough to help us through like hard times. And those kind of girls are girls that we can build a program around and they can add to all the good stuff that we already have in the class that we already have here right now. And I'm just super excited. And I talked to at the end of the season banquet, like when I got named the head coach and I had to call all our recruits that were coming in and talk to the girls who had finished the season prior that I was ahead. Like I was told by my administration, like, it's okay. Like expect someone to not want to come back or not want to like follow through with their commitment. And I was ready for that. I was expecting that and everyone came back
Oh
and
wow.
I was brought in and like some of our freshmen that came in, I just thought that it was really cool that they put that kind of trust in me early on too, when I had nothing to give to them besides some words. And they could have honestly gone to a safer program where things were more established and they could do well and get great coaching and stuff like that. Another program. And same for our freshmen coming in this year, like Taya and Bree and a lot of other girls. They could go to some programs that are more established now, right? Women's wrestling's been around a little bit longer now in college, and it's going to continue to go that way. So newer programs might not always have like the best incoming recruits. But our girls trust me, and I think it's because we try to be very like direct and being transparent and authentic in our recruiting process.
So it's tough. Recruiting in the state of Iowa is tough. I believe we're at 23, maybe 24 opportunities in this small
Yeah,
state. And,
yeah,
that's a lot. People are fighting for things. What are your numbers looking like as far as going forward? What kind of numbers you got on the team?
yeah. It's looking really, really good. We're bringing in 14 girls in this next recruiting class.
Very
Uh,
good.
Still working on one more. Just because some kids from out of state, they wait till the last minute because they get out of school maybe in June. So they're a little bit behind the ball. But yeah, we're hoping we do have 14 coming in next year, and we have a 15th girl maybe. But we're still hopeful that we can get her and help her along the process and get everything finished up. But yeah, it's a huge turning point. Like last year, we ended the season with 6 girls, right? And we ended the season this year
Yep.
with 17 on our roster. And we're bringing in more girls. We're only losing one senior, but we're just like trying to change the makeup of our program, the DNA of who we are and what we are and what we're known for. People think they know our reputation and who we are, and our girls and our captains, they have a chip on their shoulder because who everyone thinks we are isn't who we are. And we're just getting started. Our first real year of wrestling, I think, was this year, and we're bringing in a really strong freshman class, and a lot of our girls who are returners, their varsity spot isn't guaranteed, and they love that. And that took some intentional building and some trust to do that. But they want to get better. They want Central Women's Wrestling to be known for something and to have a real legacy. And they know to do that, we need to bring in quality talent every year. And every year and every week, you need to fight for your spot. And I think that says something really special about our girls in our program that, I mean, Wartburg's going to have it. North Central and Illinois, they have that. Like, North Central has like 60 girls on their roster. They're bought
Yep.
in. Like, they only care about the program. And we're trying to get to that point too.
Well, I would say with the numbers going from 6 to 17 and then bringing in another 15, I mean, you're headed in the right direction for sure, headed in the right direction. And that's really exciting. Um, let's flip the script a little bit and let's get to know you just a little bit better as a person, because I think that's always fun to let other people know kind of who you are. One of the things being in a women's wrestling room and like for me in the girls' wrestling room, the practice playlist. Do you get to put any of your influence into that playlist, or you just shut up, coach, you sit on the side? Because that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
I don't get much influence on our practice playlist.
Yeah, I usually pick out our playlist or do it. Sometimes I give the girls like like you guys make the playlist, but I mean a lot of girls don't want to. It's kind of vulnerable for people nowadays. Like the music you listen to and you put that on in front of everybody and everyone judges you. But I just put on whatever. Like when I was coaching at MLC Floyd Valley, I had our captains make a playlist, and I still use that sometimes. Like for me, it's noise to have in the background. And yeah, some good
Yep.
songs here and there. Sometimes we put on like specific songs or specific playlists, but as long as the kids are focused and having fun and the music's good, then we don't really care what's on.
Who else is on the coaching staff there at Central with you?
Yeah, we have Brittany Buck. She was coach of the year for the middle school last year when she was coaching for Pella. I brought her on when I like shortly after I got hired over the summer. I was kind of hunting for her, and she told me no at first, and I wanted to respect her as a new mom. Uh, Her child is like kind of like a miracle baby, she always says, and I'll let her tell her story if you ever have a chance to talk to her.
I,
But
I
it really
definitely
is,
will.
yeah, it definitely is a miracle. And she's an amazing woman. But I just know that like being a female wrestling coach as a male, like you need to have a strong female leadership on your staff. It's very important. And I was the same at the high school when I brought my sister-in-law
Yeah.
on staff. Same way with Coach Brittany Buck. Like, there's no way I'm going to be a head coach and not have a strong female leadership. And so we brought her on, and we were persistent. And the second time around, she she said yes, thankfully, and she's fit in perfectly, and she's been great. And then we actually decided to like medically retire one of our athletes this year. She just has a lot of concussions. This kid wants to go to medical school and be a doctor and do all these great things, and she got like a full academic ride here at
Uh-huh.
Central. Her brain got her this far, and it was a hard decision. But we just recommended to her and her family that it'd probably be best to not wait until she have to medically retire, but just take our advice and just end it now. And we kind of just like my goal as a coach and as a father of two girls, like, and you being a coach for female wrestling too, you probably get it. Like, we want to help keep developing women and young ladies to be coaches. And so I asked her like if she would please consider coming on as a student coach. And so she decided to do that. And she was a trooper, Nia Coleman. She's amazing. She's originally from Kansas and are from Missouri. And so like when she came on and it was kind of awkward, like being an athlete that semester
Yep.
and then the next semester being a coach, like it's kind of weird. But she took her licks and tried to earn her respect and everything like that. And so I just have a lot of respect for her, and she'll be coming back as a senior next year as a student coach, and we'll be trying to give her more responsibilities. Really fun and interesting thing about Anaya is that she went to her advisor and is trying to consider going into the education field now, and she really wants to be a coach. So we might
Well,
just steal a doctor from the future and then made him a wrestling coach. But I think wrestling coaches are just as important as doctors nowadays.
I don't disagree with you. Um, Pella, really nice community, very nice community.
Yeah.
If you and your wife, your family's going out to eat, where's kind of the go-to place for you?
It's kind of just wherever. I mean, Chick-fil-A is a good spot for us because we have kids. Our little ones, they like to play in the little playground area, just like
Yep.
McDonald's when I was a kid. So we can get a spicy chicken sandwich, and the kids get to go crazy in the playroom. So that's a good one
That
for us.
that works too. Do you get a chance to get down to the bakeries? Because every time I go to Pella, I gotta stop at the bakery.
Yeah, man, my kids love it. I mean, it's probably like the best thing for a kid to be down here. Like we have multiple bakeries and a lot of good coffee shops with baked goods too. But whenever we have free time, we try to walk down there. It's only like 3 blocks away from my house, and go down to the square, go to the bakery, and let the kids pick up. Like my kids are 5 and 3 and almost 2, my son, and they actively talk about diabetes. Like they have to like I can't get that big of a cookie because I don't want to get sick. But you can
That's
easily
funny.
eat more than your lifetime's worth of sugar in a weekend at the bakeries here in town. So
Oh, for sure. Um, Vacation spots. We always talk about where would be the bucket list vacation spot. And you're in a different spot, because you got you and your wife and young kids. Maybe look at this two different ways. Where's a vacation spot you want to take the whole family, and then one spot for maybe just you and your wife get that opportunity to go somewhere.
yeah, for my whole family, Clear Lake, Iowa is very special to my wife and her family. They've been going there all her life, and her father, his mom, and their family used to do vacation down there. And I think that's really special. And so like I've come to love Clear Lake too. And so I'm excited. We take our family down there almost every year. We're going this year. So that's always perfect. Like it's a beautiful town and everyone just has a blast. You're just swimming and not showering that much, eating a lot of food and just having fun and tubing and all those kinds of things. So there's a bunch of possibilities on the lake. And then for family or just for my wife and I, we're hoping to try to go to Mexico or somewhere like kind of like out of the country, just us.
Yep.
Just because like we've been working out a lot. Like my wife, she just got her master's. I just got my doctorate. We just finished school. We both graduated within like a week or two of each other last year, and so we've been working our butts off right before we turned 30 years old. Like right before we
Yeah,
turned 30, we got our degrees done and stuff. So um, I think we deserve a vacation.
I would say so. Yeah. Any plans with that doctorate to teach then, or teach at the college level?
Yeah, I would really, really love that. I mean, I hope someday when I'm like not able to walk on the mat anymore, that I can go into an administrative role in the college and really be impactful that way, and hopefully at Central College. But that's why I chose to work at a small institution like Division III, and specifically Central College, is because it's just like when you were a student, but as an adult, you can be an athlete and involved in like take your academics very seriously and be involved in music or theater or whatever you want to be in or FCA. And then for staff, I can be a head coach and I could teach a couple classes. And so that's what I'm hoping to teach in the future. But Central is very like we have a quality education here. And so like you
Yep.
just need to be properly prepared. And so I'm trying to humble myself and be ready to do what I need to do to prove myself as an academic and how I can actually give back to the college in that way.
Very good. Just a few things left. What's that one thing that you can say wrestling has taught you?
Yeah, I would say it just taught me how it taught me that that wrestling isn't everything. It's just kind of like a metaphor, and everyone always talks about that. Dan Gable has a famous quote about that. Everyone talks about all these great things about wrestling, what it teaches you, but I think a lot of kids and a lot of athletes get carried away sometimes, and I know I did, where you lose your identity in that, right? And like one thing that my coaches always taught me, almost all of them, is that it's just the icing on the cake. Like wrestling is amazing, but it's the people you get to meet and you get to do it with, the people you train with, the people you talk with every day on a day-to-day basis. Like that is what really matters. Um, and like the education I got at Central and the opportunities I got when I wrestled in the Marine Corps, like wrestling was always there and it was always the icing on the cake. It was the fun part, right? Luis said it in his interview with you that like wrestling, when we get to compete, that's the fun part. But the rest of it, I think, is more important. The training, the people you meet, and the things you get to do. That's all way more important. I think it was easy for me to lose my identity because I was kind of just like a lost young man growing up, searching for a lot of meaning. And I think I found that in wrestling itself. And thankfully, I met the people that I needed to meet at Central and in the Marine Corps to show me that wrestling isn't just who I am as a person. It's just something that I do.
Yeah, very much so. Um, this question, not the organization. I've been asking this and I really like the answers that come out of this. What do you think it means to wrestle like a girl?
Yeah, I think it just means to go out there and have fun and to wrestle. A lot of girls, especially when I was coaching at the high school, like they don't go into wrestling right away to be state champions, right? A lot of these girls still now they're just getting started, and so like they're just going out there to just try to wrestle and have fun and to just go like throw some bodies on the mat. And to them that sounds interesting, and I think that's really really special and really really cool. And I think to wrestle like a girl, it's like one of those things where it doesn't have to define you. Like you're just a wrestler. Like you have to be this rough and tough girl. You can also like get all dolled up and get your hair and makeup done and go to prom the same night that you just won a tournament. And I think that's a really big thing. And I think that's why girls wrestling is off to a good start, where not too many of our girls are losing their identity right away because they already have a good self awareness when they go into the sport, knowing that they can be a wrestler and be a prom queen type of thing.
I like that. I've had, in one year, I had, since I'm in a co-op, I had two prom queens and two state place winners. They were, it was pretty
Yeah.
cool. So you're right. There's so much more than just the sport, and that's great. You've kind of already answered this, but when you get old and gray, and I know you just hit 30, and it probably feels old, but you're not. I just hit 55, and I'm starting to feel it. What do you think you're going to remember about your time as a wrestler and as a coach?
I think I'm gonna remember all the long bus rides and like the long snowstorm trips, like when we were in BV, like in Storm Lake, and we had to drive back. It took us 8 hours to drive back to Pella because of
Oh,
the
wow.
snowstorm. Like I'm gonna remember those kinds of things where you think in the moment, like this sucks, like this isn't the greatest or whatever. But I mean, those times, like same with wrestling, like as a like you're not an athlete anymore. Like I still remember those hard practices. Like I miss grinding with the boys and like doing all these hard workouts and training, being in the weight room and stuff. I'm with coaching. It's going to be the same thing. I'm going to miss like the long road trips and being in the office all night and like kids constantly checking in with me in the office because they have all these problems. Like, I'm going to miss being that person for them on campus because I think it's just a really cool opportunity that we get to be in all those places and do all those things.
Yeah. Last thing, always give an opportunity to give your final thoughts. I'd like to, before we do that, I think Central found a great coach. I think just the things that I've seen, over this last year of the progress that the Central College has made, and then having 15 people coming in and getting to know you just a little bit better. I think we've talked more this year than we've, even coached against each other, a couple of
Yeah.
years and really didn't get to know each other, but I've really enjoyed getting to know you. And I think you're doing a great job. But I always give opportunity for some final thoughts. So, what do you want people to know about you and Central College?
Yeah, I just want them to know that like so quick story that as a head coach, I try to be there for the girls when they start moving in and stuff like that, especially the freshmen, and like to say hi to the parents when they're moving their daughters in and all that stuff because that's usually what you do as a first year. When the kids start saying bye to their dads and their moms, like that really got me. And like even right now, I feel a little emotional, but like my daughters are going to be in that same position someday, and I hope that my daughters don't limit themselves. Like I want girls who live in Pella to come to Central College, but like at the same time, I want my girls to know and my sons to know that there's other opportunities out there. Like I went across the country, like from Washington to Iowa, and I want them to find someone who loves and cares about them as a person, not as a wrestler or whatever they decide to go into college for and to do. I want them to know that like someone cares about them, and I want to know that this person cares about them and is looking out for them. And so, like when dads are saying bye to their daughters and they're getting all teared up and it's all these big burly guys with beards and stuff, like that really got to me. And so I was already taking it personal, but now like it's like something that like I have to be there for these girls, like when they're sick, when they need someone to talk to. That's why I try to have an open door policy. If a girl wants to be in my office and just watch TV while I'm doing my work on my computer recruiting, that's more than fine. Or if they want to complain to me about their day, that's more than fine. But I just want all the girls who come to Central College to know that they're loved and they're cared for, and that wrestling is always going to be secondary, and that their value is in them as a person. And I want their parents to know that too. That's really important, especially a kid who comes from 4 hours away or 16 hours away or across the country or even down the road, that we love and care about your daughter, and we're always going to put her well being first. I think we did that. We have two, three good examples of that this year. Anaya Coleman being one of them. Like we lost our 117 pounder, like a good 117 pounder for the year, or 124 pounder that we could have bumped her up to. And so we had a hole in our lineup the rest of the year. And we're not a dual team yet right now, so it was okay. But still, it's always nice to have a full lineup. And we didn't even think for a second. Like Anaya's health and her well being comes first, and we're never going to jeopardize that. But yeah, and then when it comes to Central College, I just want the kids to know that like if you like me and you like Coach Buck and you like our wrestling team, dude, it's so much better. Like it's that same thing or even better, like in all sectors of our college. right? You're gonna become friends with the custodians like clean your dorm halls. You're gonna become friends with the ladies who serve your lunch, or the men who make your sandwiches at the dining hall. Your professors, your advisors, everybody loves and cares about you here at Central, and that's what makes Central so special is the relationships.
Very good. Well, it was definitely good to talk to you. Good luck on the finishing up the recruiting trail. Hopefully you have a good summer. I think I'm going to try. Are you in Carroll here shortly?
Oh no, we just got done with that one.
Oh, I
Yeah.
just got done. Oh
And,
no, I missed it. Darn it.
we're doing a clinic here in June though for
Okay.
a couple teams trying to invite people over and help some girls out and get ready for Fargo and all that. So maybe you can come down to that, and then we're hoping to do a youth camp for youth wrestling for girls, either in July or August.
Oh, very good. Yeah, I'll try to make it down. I like coming down to Pella. I get to see my good friend Adam and stuff too. So I always enjoy
Um,
it. So
it'd be great to have you here and get some good goods at the bakery and all that.
all right. Well,
Yeah,
I'm going to hit the stop button. Good talking to you today. Thank you very much.
yeah. Thank you.